Hey guys, and welcome to another Animal Crossing video. I'm ChillingCharly. In my opinion, Animal Crossing has some of the most interesting and adorable characters in all of gaming. From the iconic Bob to the lovable Stitches, there are so many great characters out there, and in this video I want to shine a light on some of the coolest facts that you guys might not have known about certain characters. Obviously I can't speak for everyone, you guys might know a lot of the facts on this video, but I'm going to try my best to highlight some really unique and cool facts that I think people will enjoy. If you're excited for this video, be sure to leave a like, and let's get straight into it. Number 1. Vesta the Clone Sheep. In Animal Crossing, depending on which language of the game you play, your villagers are likely to have different names. Oftentimes, these names are changed around the world to make more sense in the language and region you're playing in. One really cool one is Vesta, who in Germany is called Dolly, which a viewer pointed out to me. This is a reference to the clone sheep, who was the first mammal cloned from a somatic cell. This is a pretty cool homage to one of the most influential and important animals in history. Dolly even has clones of herself out there in the world today, so she lives on in more than just Vesta and Animal Crossing. Number 2. The First Villager. Let's talk about our beloved cat and channel mascot, Bob. Did you know that Bob was potentially the first villager ever created? His ID number is number 1 in the original Animal Crossing game, meaning he's listed first amongst all of the villagers. His birthday is also January 1st, leading a lot of people to believe that he was the first one ever made. We're yet to get confirmation on this, but it seems to add up, and I think his fairly simple design would have worked well as a good reference point for other characters. I'd certainly like to believe that our boy Bob was the first amongst many great villagers that we know and love today. Number 3. The Alpacas. Another viewer let me know that in Spanish, Cyrus and Reese are actually called Owl and Paca respectively, which is a really simple fact but a super cute one. Of course, the pair are both based on alpacas, and the only characters in the games to be so. They're definitely a cute couple, and they also made their short-lived return in Animal Crossing New Horizons recently for the wedding season. Maybe we'll get to see them again soon, hopefully so. Number 4. Apollo the Astronaut. In pretty much every language, Apollo's name is a form of his English name. That means most people should be very familiar with this guy by now and be able to easily identify him regardless of which language he's referred to in. He really takes the cake when it comes to name consistency, and he's a pretty iconic character, having been in all of the Animal Crossing games and even in the Animal Crossing movie as well. As a bald eagle, his birthday is the 4th of July, which marks the United States Independence Day. He's also most likely named after the American Apollo space program too, which makes him a pretty high-flying bird. Number 5. Pate the Party Cow. A few viewers pointed out to me that in Spain, Pate the cow's name is Vacarina. Vac, which means cow, and then the word Macarena, which is a pretty famous Spanish dance song and dance routine. We had no idea that Pate liked to party so hard, but you know, the more you know. Number 6. Coco the Gyroid. Coco has become a pretty popular character who's definitely one of the most beloved rabbit villagers in the games, but for a lot of people she's also one of the creepiest. This is because Coco is actually based upon a gyroid, the little clay statues which you can dig up after a rainy day in most Animal Crossing games. It's also what the character Lloyd is directly based off. This makes Coco less of a rabbit and more of a hollow statue who is modelled after a Haniwa statue, which were made for ritual use and buried with the deceased in the past. I still love her though, and I'm definitely a big fan of the characters who are more unique like she is. I just think they're a lot more fun and interesting. Number 7. The King of Halloween. Just a small fact here, also sent to me by a viewer, but in Japan, Jack, who is the Halloween NPC, is also called Pump King, which is very fitting for the King of Halloween, and it's also a nice little pun too, which we love. I think given his fun spirit and love of mischief, Jack would definitely enjoy having this name. It's certainly incredibly fitting for him. Number 8. Duck Food. On the more unfortunate side, Pate the duck is actually named after a duck food dish, which makes her one of the more darkly named characters. Trust me though, she isn't the only character on this list whose name has a darker meaning behind it. I definitely think the writers of the games have a pretty dark and cynical sense of humor, and I enjoy that a lot, as the older Animal Crossing games the writing was a lot like this and it was honestly fantastic. I will say, however, though, I love ducks, so I feel very sorry for Pate. Number 9. Kabuki's name consistency. Now, we talked about Apollo having the same or a very similar name variant in every language, but for Kabuki, his name is the same in literally every language that the game has, which I think is incredibly cool. I mean, what else could they name the guy anyway? He's a kabuki, which is part of Japanese theatre if you didn't know, so he's a super cool character. Number 10. Bow and Meow. You guys might know of the two removed villagers Bow and Meow. A fun fact about them that is sad for the rest of the world is that they were never seen outside of the Japanese version of the original Animal Crossing game. This is most likely because they were based on the Bow and Meow lingual translation devices, which claim to translate what a dog or cat would say to you. Whether this is true is debatable, but probably not, let's be honest. Their face designs are literally the spitting image of the product, and this product was only made available in Japan, so that makes these characters pretty confusing for anyone outside of that area. They probably wouldn't get the reference of what these characters are designed for. That being said, I think they're both super cool and I'd love to see them return one day alongside a bunch of different villagers that they removed. I mean, there really is a whole ton of characters that used to be in the game that they took out, and I'd love to see some of them come back one day. Number 11. The robots. We may actually have a few different characters out there who are robots, such as Ribbot and Sprocket. It's unknown where these characters came from, but Ribbot mysteriously has the number 59 on the back of his head, implying he's one of many mass-produced robot frogs, or robot animals out there in the world. Sprocket has the number 04 on the back of his head also, meaning there's most likely a line of characters like this out there somewhere in the Animal Crossing world. It's definitely interesting, and maybe there's some kind of big Animal Crossing robot conspiracy out there, I don't know, but hopefully we see even more Animal Crossing robot characters introduced in the future, and we can see what numbers they have on the back of their heads as well. Number 12. The Cranky Ohare. Since two new personalities were introduced in Animal Crossing New Leaf, those being Smug and Sisterly, also known as Uchi, some villagers had to have their personalities adapted to fit. For example, in the older games, Ohare used to be a cranky villager. This definitely feels super out of place for him now, given how well he fits into the Smug category, so I'm very happy that they added those two new personality types in. It works really well for some of the older villagers who got changed, and also really well for some new characters that we saw introduced in Animal Crossing New Leaf, and also Animal Crossing New Horizons. Hopefully we get to see even more personality types added in the future. Number 13. Unfortunate Elmer. Back to the dark facts, Elmer the horse is most likely named after Elmer's glue, which actually used to be made from horses. This is another great example of the writers sneaking in a dark little reference for us all to enjoy. Poor Elmer though, I definitely hope he doesn't end up becoming glue, that would be a big shame. Number 14. Gracie. In Japan and South Korea, Gracie is and has always been a male character, but for the international audience, they're female. This also applies to the character Sahara. I'm not quite sure why there's this discrepancy, but ultimately Gracie is one of the most fun and iconic characters in the games. Let's be honest, who else would judge our poor fashion choices other than Gracie? Number 15. Mythological villagers. We have at least 3 villagers that are based upon mythological creatures, making them exceptionally cool. These 3 are Julian, who is based upon a unicorn, Phoebe, who is based upon a phoenix, and Drago, who of course is based upon a dragon. These 3 are super cool characters and definitely 3 you'd want living with you in your town or in your island. I really love characters like this. As I mentioned earlier, Coco is one of those characters that has such a unique design, but then when you've got villagers who are literally based upon mythological creatures, how can you not love them and want them living with you? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed those 15 facts about Animal Crossing characters that you didn't know. Hopefully you didn't know some of them at the very least. I know that a lot of us Animal Crossing fans are really hardcore and we know everything about the games, but I'm sure there's always fun new things to learn, and that's exactly what I wanted to achieve with this video. So if you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, and of course you can subscribe for even more Animal Crossing content. I'll catch you in the next video.